Welcome to our weekly roundup of key economic and business developments in Sri Lanka. I'm Nishani Piguera, and here are this week's top stories. 17 countries meet to discuss Sri Lanka's debt. IMF team here in the island ahead of review. Bank deposits safeguarded under domestic debt restructuring, assures governor. India extends $1 billion credit line to Sri Lanka by a year. In our top story this week, on Tuesday, 17 countries formed an official creditor committee to discuss Sri Lanka's request for a debt treatment. Releasing a statement, the Paris Club creditors stated that Sri Lankan authorities had made a formal request for debt treatment and reiterated their commitment to transparency and comparability of treatment towards their bilateral creditors. The creditor committee is pursuing a solution for Sri Lanka's external debt vulnerabilities consistent with the parameters of the IMF program. The committee also stressed on the importance of private and other official bilateral creditors providing debt treatment on terms at least as favorable as the ones agreed by the creditor committee. On Thursday, a team from the International Monetary Fund arrived in Sri Lanka. They will be in the country until the 23rd of May. The multilateral lending agency said that this visit is a part of regular consultations ahead of the first review mission scheduled later this year. Krishna Srinivasan, Director of Asia and Pacific Department of the IMF, will soon be joining the team. Nandalal Veerasinghe, Governor of the Central Bank, assured that Sri Lanka's public bank deposits and the stability of the banking system will be safeguarded in any reorganization of domestic debt. IMF conditions require Sri Lanka's annual financing ceiling in 2027 to 2032 to reduce to about 13% of GDP from the current 30%. Meanwhile, Reuters, quoting a finance ministry official, reported that India had extended the $1 billion credit line to Sri Lanka until March 2024. Quoting the Deputy Treasury Secretary Priyantha Ratnayaka, Reuters said, "There is approximately $350 million of the credit line left, which can be utilized as needed. However, given the increase of foreign exchange availability in the market, the need is not as keen as it was last year." In other news, Sri Lanka and Thailand will hold the next round of talks on the proposed free trade agreement in June this year. This would be the fifth round of talks, as the last meeting was held in late March 2023. The Government Information Department revealed that the two countries are likely to sign the agreement by March 2024. Tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka during the first 7 days of May was 18,401, pushing the year-to-date visitor numbers to almost 460,000. China is re-emerging as a top source market as Beijing allowed its citizens in and out of the country without a negative PCR test. Sri Lanka tourism has upped the arrival target for the year to 2 million from 1.5 million, as each of the first 4 months' numbers were over 100,000. Johan Lawrence, Secretary of the Joint Apparel Association Forum, speaking to Reuters, said that Sri Lanka's apparel export earnings could drop by as much as $1 billion in 2023. He cited the slowing demand in key export markets amid rising inflation and high interest rates as reasons, adding that a recovery is about 5 to 6 months away. During the first quarter of 2023, apparel and textile exports declined 13.8% year-on-year to $1.3 billion. Now let's take a look at the weekly movement of the All Share Price Index and the S&P SL 20 Index at the Colombo Stock Exchange. At the Treasury bill auction held on Wednesday, yields on 91-day maturities fell 2 basis points. The 182 and 364-day yields were unchanged. Bids amounting to 252 billion were received, and of which 132 billion rupees were accepted. The Sri Lankan rupee fluctuated against the dollar this week, with the central bank's indicative mid-spot rate ranging between 318 and 319. And with that, we wrap up for this week. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel at the link below for more updates on economic and business developments in Sri Lanka. Until we see you again next week, thank you for watching. Stay safe.